Good evening. Welcome everybody to the April 11th, 2022 meeting of the Queensbury Board of Education. If you'd all please join me in pledge to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So we're going to start this evening. We have 3 presentations, and we're very pleased to have Kathy Lewis here with us from the New York State School Boards Association for presentation of an award.
Good evening. Sure. This is
Please.
Okay. Good evening, Queensbury. It was nice to drive up here, and I'm actually here to present 2 awards. These are from Peggy Zugabe, the president of the New York State School Board Association, and Bob Schneider, who is the executive director of the New York State School Board Association. As I said, I'm Kathy Lewis. I'm the Area 7 director, which covers the lower Adirondacks down to past the Capital District and west to Schenectady and Scotia Glenville. So the Champions of Change recognition was established a couple of years ago by NISBA. They wanted to create a program to highlight positive programming that was bringing change to the students, communities, and districts of New York. They created the Champions of Change program to do just that. The recognition is unsolicited. Member Relations combs through e-clips for articles highlighting programs. In addition, Member Relations visits upwards of 300 school districts each to discuss their challenges and successes. All programs are brought to a committee that chooses the programs that are recognized through a beautiful recognition banner, which I have here. So we were notified about 2 programs here in Queensbury. One of them is the graduation code graduation change code, whatever. And the other is the Clean Water Project. And so I would like to present those banners to whomever.
So the first one, you have,
This is the Queensbury.
I'm going to ask Mr. Brannigan to join me up here in just a second if I have the right one.
I have the right. This is the
Okay,
graduation.
that's the graduation. Stay right there, Mr. Brannigan. Mr. Switzer, I would like you on behalf of Queensbury School to accept this, and I'd like you to say a few words if you would, please.
I'd like to hear it too. This is all facing the financial president of Schenectady City School District, and I recognize the significance of this stressful policy.
Yeah, thank you very much for recognizing our efforts. I really want to thank Marcella Heise and her family for sharing their Native American heritage with us, and wanted to make sure that when it comes to recognizing our students that we're as equitable as possible, and very pleased that we were able to accommodate Marcella and her family, and of course others that will come later. We put some good procedures in place. So thank you very much.
Excellent. I even know how to say hood in the shine. I'll just say
Yes.
it.
Yeah, that's right.
Wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll do it here. Very good.
Oh, so you gotta get a picture.
Hold on. Oh, I need to send a picture of this. So I know I did it. Thank you. Thank you.
Did you run in circles?
Is for the Clean Water Project, and I believe that came through the school. And
Amanda Brannigan. So since Amanda has come to the middle school, she has just been a beacon of change. Her inspiration for our students and also our fellow faculty and staff members has just been nothing short of amazing. Her partnership with area agencies, but in this case, partnership with worldwide, increasing awareness and support for clean water, and making a campaign in the process of involving students and community has just been something short of amazing. So we really thank Amanda for all of her efforts, her genuine approach to everything that she does in our district, and to enlighten our students and to increase awareness to global initiatives.
Hopefully, you are most grateful and much that you with this support. And boy, do I appreciate the value of clean water. My basement flooded Friday. So, thank you for your effort. Thank you very much.
Take that, display that proudly, and make sure our banner gets up in the high school as well. Thank you so much.
So one will be in the high school and one will be in the middle school, right? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis. Thank you.
Before we get started, Kathy, I love your earrings.
Thank you.
I'm glad my granddaughter isn't here tonight and she bought some of those in her Easter basket. It's nice.
Okay, the next presentation is the Gateway to Arts, Athletics, and Clubs with Mr. Gannon and Mr. Brannigan.
Thank you, Mr. Brannigan. So as the Board of Education knows, it's a priority for us to get students involved here at Queensbury. It has been for years, and this year is no different. When the year started, I know the Board of Education is aware we collect data, collect it often, and every 10 weeks, the principals report there. We meet with the directors and go through their data. And a staggering fact came across my desk around winter time, and it was Mr. Keys. He was in my office and he said to me, pre-pandemic, we had over 380 winter athletes. Post-pandemic, we were 100 less in district. So we knew we were losing students. And so that fact was staggering, but on top of it, we knew we wanted to look at all of our clubs. We wanted to look at everything that was happening here in participation. So as the year started, I think the Board of Education is aware, we implemented 4th grade orchestra and band. We had tremendous success with that. Lots and lots of kids at the 4 or 5 building are involved. Between 150 and a little over that are involved in orchestra and band. And we also met with every club advisor. Scott went to the 4 or 5 with Quinn. Denise was the middle school, and Rachel Marcel, and myself, Rachel, and Damien met with every club advisor on campus to see how do we get more kids involved? Are we marketing our clubs, our art programs, and the athletics enough? Are we doing enough to let everyone know? So what we did, we started a campaign, and Mike and I quickly realized, and we had talked with Rich, that it needed to be done at the middle school. That was a target area for us. So we have started our campaign. We're going to go through what we've shown the kids, but we highlighted all of the clubs, the athletics, and the arts. And last Friday, Mike and I spent all day teaching. We were in the classrooms, and we do have a friendly competition going to see who can get more students involved. And at the end, we'll go over some of our data. This morning, we did a virtual assembly Mike and I did with all 7th grade students. And on Thursday, Mike and I will be back in the classrooms. He'll be on half of 6th grade, and I'll be on the other half, explaining all of our athletic opportunities for them, all of our art opportunities, as well as our club opportunities, so they completely understand as they're going through the middle school for more involvement. So I'm going to have Mike briefly talk about the middle school.
Thank you, Mr. Gannon. It has been a pleasure. And actually 20 years ago was when Mr. Gannon and I used to be in the same hallways. He as an ELA 6 teacher and me as the school counselor. So it's kind of a walk down memory lane, but it's great to get in the classrooms, and looking forward to this Thursday as well. We really this has been such a fun venture because we get to cheerlead. We get to just praise all the amazing programs and individuals and groups that we have, and the offerings that they give to our students in our community. So we talked about the various performing arts and an art club, the visual arts, and all of our performance groups that put out amazing productions each year. Beyond the band, orchestra, of course, all these ensemble opportunities, some through tryout, others just by eagerness to participate, but something for everyone in the realm of music as well. So we really explained what our music and our art offerings were at the middle school. And then the growing number of clubs that we have here, as you can see on this slide, we really emphasize there is something for everyone. And as the students went through this presentation and then at the end took a survey to kind of see what they wanted more information about, if there's something up there that didn't spark their interest, or they had something that they had in mind, we had them write in at the bottom, type in at the bottom something that they really wanted to start to hopefully form. And some of these clubs up here are, generated by students seeking us out. For instance, this year, I had 25 students at the beginning of the year that wanted to run a Pokemon club. I don't know much about Pokemon, but I wanted to give them a platform. So every other Tuesday, I'm in there with 25 of my closest Pokemon friends, and I've learned how to trade, how to battle, and how to just kind of network. And it's great to get students involved and together, so you can see the smattering of offerings that we have here, and it grows every year. We're really excited. So we went through each one and showcased to the students to kind of get their interest, to get their understanding as to what each program was. And we did similarly with sports, emphasizing, the fact that modified sports start in 7th grade. We took them through all the offerings that we have in the fall, in the winter, and the spring. And Mr. Gannon and I were out in front this morning. We saw all the lacrosse gear coming in, and the softball, the baseball bats, and everything. It's great as the weather's getting nice here to see our spring sports season off to a great start. So we took them through all the sports and the clubs, and then we took them through Family ID.
So we wanted all of our students, a little while ago, our district transitioned to Family ID. This is an online platform where parents put all of their information if they're going to do athletics. Your current physical, your insurance information, it all gets put there. But the first time you do it, it's a little bit jobby. It takes, about 30 minutes. So we wanted the kids to be able to help their parents. We didn't want this to be a barrier. And then when you go back in after your first time, it pre-populates minus the physical. So it gets a little bit easier, but we went over that with all the students. And then as we got into the next slide, we showed them the arts offerings at the high school. So we went through this with all 8th grade students and went over that. We moved into all the sports that they can do, and we explained each sport and told them not to be afraid to try something. Really just, even if you haven't done it before, our numbers in cross country have been low over the last few years. We're still trying to figure out why. During the pandemic, we limited it to 10 boys and 10 girls. And we think that had an effect down the road. We know field hockey has had lower numbers. So we got into spirit cheer versus competitive cheer, really trying to explain it to all the students so they understood their opportunities. In the winter, we went over winter sports. You can see the offerings we have. And then we moved into spring. And then we really, I think if you take a look at the clubs that are offered at the high school and the work that our high school admin team does to keep these live, this is the first of 2 slides. So we went through every single club with the students and told them what it was and how they could get involved. And the second slide is right here. So, and at the bottom, we've been really progressive as a school district. We've done a clubs and activity guide as well. So we did that so that students can go on at any point in the year. We're sharing this presentation with the middle school families this week as we finish up in 6th grade on Thursday. This will go out. And then there was John Luthringer helped us with the last, get involved, and we attached the Queensbury Parks and Rec slide. But on each of the grade levels, John helped us get our Google form together, which populated on the back end. He was able to see, he's able to generate how many students, so they could click on more than one club. So how many students, clicked on which club. We linked it up to the advisors, John did. So all this information will go to each club advisor, and it will go to each coach within the next few weeks. So they'll have a list with the child's contact information, so they can reach out to them to let them know the starting times. With 8th graders, we also went over that athletic starts early in the summer. So we really felt like we got ahead of this. Here's some data thus far. So if you take a look from today, John already grabbed this from this morning because we did 7th grade this morning, and in 8th grade we did. So 412 students have filled this out. In 7th grade, we already have 123 students that are interested in at least one club. That doesn't mean they're not interested. They could be interested in 3 or 4 clubs as well, but they're interested in at least one club. Look at 8th grade. We We have 188 of our 8th graders that are interested in at least one club heading to the high school. The arts, you can see the numbers, 7th grade, 85 are interested, and 107 in 8th grade. So really good numbers. And on the last slide, John was able to grab as far as the sports. So we have 121 7th graders and 153 8th graders that are interested in a fall sport. These are really good numbers, really strong numbers. These are going directly to the coaches. You can see 88, 113, and spring 109 and 115. So we felt like this was really good work for our district, really strong work to make sure our kids knew how to get involved. And it's been really fun. The teachers have really engaged. I know Mrs. Braheny spoke, and our teachers are talking to the students about the importance of them feeling like they belong in their school and getting back into everything full swing. So that was the gist of our presentation. And it certainly mirrors goal number 3 that the Board of Education has put forward. We're excited about this. So any questions?
So I know that you and Mike and the teachers spoke, but did this 7th and 8th grade students hear from the students that are in the high school that are in those sports? Like, are they hearing from their peers or are they just hearing from you?
They're hearing from us. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, not yet. That in the works, we're trying to figure out how to best, like I know last year we had some members of the high school cross country team come down. We're planning to try to orchestrate some of that for this spring as well. Also looking at club fairs. Actually, we're trying to coincide with our back to school night, September 15th, to showcase all the clubs again for parents, and then also do it for our students as well, so they can connect with their child after they come to the next fall as well.
7th grade students did speak up about the different clubs and sports that they have participated in, and they're just very glad to have them back, and just like how much they've grown in cross country, and the other students spoke up about drama club, and just at first she was very timid in 4th grade, and she was really enjoying playing on the side. So they did meet from a few of your 7th grade kids, and
That's great. It's a good component because, you're hearing from the teachers and the administrators, and that's one aspect, right? But to hear from students or maybe older brothers or sisters or, along those lines that they kind of look up to is a little bit different than hearing from teachers.
We also talked a little bit about the first grade training facilities that we have here in high school, the weight room, and just getting the students to understand the importance of strength and conditioning in our programs that we have here. And we actually, how many of you have been over there and seen the facilities? A lot of hands have gone up, so they're starting to come into this building more, and that's a great experience for them to have as well. Any other questions?
I said a comment. Tim and I meet with Kyle and the Adventures to go over the agenda. I saw this on here and we're briefed on it. And it's really gets exciting when you see the information that's provided, because we've heard over many years now that at least every year that I've been on the board, the participation rate for 4-5 building is just about 100%, where a child is included and participates in a club or sport or something along those lines, extracurricular activity, and it drops off when you get to middle school. So these efforts very much appreciated to the benefit of keeping the kids here and keep them with us again, with the buy-in and have them feel like they belong and have something to really bond with and help them get through some of the challenging days when you have something to look forward to. So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Whittemore, have a safety award from Meet International.
So we're pleased to share with the board again, the district has received the Utica National Excellence Award, the titanium level with honors. So as I was researching this to have a conversation with you about it, the information that needs to be provided by the district is very significant. They have different thresholds, and it's across 19 different categories that Utica measures. And you have to score the 90% on these large checklists that they have. to meet the requirements. And the with honors piece is related to having a certain amount of backup, so documentation, policies, procedures that the district follows to receive this award. So we received this award consistently, and we're very proud of the team that's worked for us to get it. A couple of the different measurements they look at are indoor air quality, fire safety, emergency planning, just overall environmental safety in terms of how the board's safety committee meets, and all those add up to get us to the score. So, but what you're just seeing here is sort of an end product. So you're seeing sort of the end part is hard work, but really where this has been effective is with the team that sits behind me, both the principals and the teachers. They really committed to this, and they really committed to keeping our students safe and made it part of the culture. So my thanks goes to the board, but my thanks really goes to the teammates here who have helped us achieve this because of the culture of safety at this school is very, very strong. I think this award really recognizes that. So thank you.
Come to the point of open forum. Our first open forum is to address agenda items only, and then we have a second open forum later in the meeting to address other comments to the board. So at this time, is there anyone that wishes to speak about agenda items? So seeing none, we'll get into the business items. Mr. Whittemore.
Recommended the board with business item A, motion to adopt 2022-23 budget in the amount of $72 million for $98. This all goes to the full over. So
Thank you. Second, please.
Second.
Thank you, Brad.
trustee Belvin,
Aye.
trustee Fladenberg,
Aye.
trustee Cabana,
Aye.
trustee Flair,
Aye.
trustee Hardesty,
Aye.
trustee Mannix,
Aye.
trustee Malloy,
Aye.
trustee Jay,
Aye.
trustee
Aye.
Motion made, passes.
Recommended the board approve item B, motion to approve the following resolution related to Queensbury Free School District property tax report part for fiscal year 2022-23 as presented.
Have a motion, please.
So moved, Pat?
Pat, Dawn, second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion be carried.
Recommended the board approve business item C. The motion to approve secret resolution regarding the rehabilitation, construction, and improvements in elementary school building, where it's the project as presented.
Motion, please. Thank you, Dawn. Second.
Second?
Any discussion on the motion? Have a roll call.
Trustee Bell,
Aye.
trustee Fladenberg.
Aye.
Trustee,
Aye.
trustee Flair,
Aye.
trustee Hardesty,
Aye.
trustee Mannix,
Aye.
trustee Malloy,
Aye.
trustee Jay,
Aye.
trustee Weaver. Aye. Recommended the board approve business item D, motion to approve the bond resolution. Whereas the district will be receiving funds pursuant to the American Rescue Plan Act to be used by rehabilitation and reconstruction improvements in the elementary school building. And whereas section 1718 of New York State Education Law provides a project paid for by the specific grants, so when no district funds may occur without the board. As presented.
Have a motion, please.
So.
Second.
Second, Pat?
Thank you. Thank you. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion be carried.
Recommended the board approve business item E, motion related to the secret resolution regarding rehabilitation and reconstruction of the basement of the high school building.
Have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Stacy. Second?
Second.
Thank you. And this is regarding the cleanup down there. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please, oh, we got a roll call, sorry. Trustee Bell?
Aye.
Blanford? Aye. Trustee Banner?
Aye.
Trustee Blair?
Aye.
Trustee Hardesty?
Aye.
Trustee Mannix?
Aye.
Trustee Malloy?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Recommended board business item F. Proposal related to the project related to cleaning up the emergency in the high school basement.
Have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Fran, second.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion on the motion? Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Bell?
Aye.
Blanford? Trustee Banner?
Aye.
Trustee Blair?
Aye.
Trustee Hardesty?
Aye.
Trustee Mannix?
Aye.
Trustee Malloy?
Aye.
Shay?
Aye.
Aye. Recommended the board approve business consent items G through D.
Good. And the board members need any of the consent items listed in G through double T removed for further consideration?
No.
Hearing none, can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Stacy. Second? Thank you, Weaver. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Business consent items through DD pass. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Mannix. I recommend the board move to approve action item A, the motion to accept the resignation for retirement purposes of Christine Bennett Barnes, Director of Student Support Services, with sincere thanks and regret, effective 7/1/22.
Thank you, Mr. Weaver. Second.
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 Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Ms. Barnes, thank you very much for your service. Appreciate all your time. Thank you.
I recommend the board move to approve action item B, the motion to approve the following long-term substitute appointment. Barbara Wilson as a Queensbury Middle School English long-term substitute teacher.
Motion, please. Thank you, Mr. Weaver. Second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion B carries.
I recommend the board move to approve action item C, the motion to approve the following long-term substitute appointment of Karen Petramali as a QHS long-term substitute math teacher.
Have a motion,
So
please.
moved.
Thank you,
Oh.
Pat. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Stacy. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion C carries.
I recommend the board move to approve educational consent items D through N.
Would any board members like any of the items in the consent D through N removed for further discussion?
No.
Hearing none, can I have a motion, please? Thank you, John. Second.
Second, Jamie.
Thank you, Jamie. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Educational consent items D through N passes. Do have to take a moment. We have two matters, E and F, the resignations of F. Resignation of Mr. Lupinger, Director of Instructional Technology. Been here a long time and we're moving on to a fantastic new post as Superintendent of Lake George School. So we couldn't be more proud and wish you all the best. Thank you. Board committee reports. I know we had a few board meetings, board committee facilities met. Mr. Weaver, Mr. Hardesty, and I attended. Jamie, you want to, or Tim, someone want to give a little rundown of what we talked about?
Sure. The roofing is going to be starting in the middle school over April break. The remaining work will continue when school is out. Software work will be started over in the elementary. Is that also going to start when school's out, or just starting when school's out? Okay. There's a lot of work to be done, as you've seen in the agenda. A lot of things are going on. One exciting thing that's going to be starting is the turf field, as it's see it, is really moving along fast. Getting a lot of detail work now done, storage building, where things are going to dugouts and whatnot, where things are placed, bleachers, and just a lot of things going on. That work will start in March of 23, March 1st. Storage building, we're looking at 30 by 70, and I don't know, did you revise that, or are we still with that? Still with that size, okay. The bus shelter out back, looking at to add on a storage facility there. A little bit of change of plans as far as what direction we're going to go. We're going to go off the building itself, but now it looks to be more feasible for us to utilize part of the bus shelter, making a closure on that.
Jamie, anything else you want to add?
No, I think Mr. Weaver covered it quite well.
Okay, safety committee, did they meet?
Yes. The safety committee did meet this afternoon.
So the people online can hear you well.
All right, so the safety committee did meet this afternoon. We talked about, we gave an update on the camera training that we had back in March with all the administrators. Just gave them an overview of how that went. We also talked about the evacuation plan. We worked at that a little bit, our mapping and where we're going at around the community college. So we discussed that a little bit. The other items we talked on were lockdowns, making sure everybody's doing lockdowns correctly, doing sweeps of the buildings. We also had quite a discussion on after-school activities. As you know, this place is pretty active at night, and we do have lots of clubs and other participants coming in. Do they know what to do if something were to happen? You know, do they know how to conduct a lockdown or pull the fire drill, et cetera? So we're starting to work on that a little bit to maybe put that in some of these bigger rooms, like the Queensbury room. This is what you do if there's something that we have to shelter in place or something like that. So we talked on that. We also gave a quick update on the capital project that is starting, as Tim mentioned earlier. The roofers are going to be starting over April break. So I just gave them a quick update on what they should look for. Roofers need to be tied off. They're 10 feet away from the edge. Flagging, etc., should all be up. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Denise, anything else? All right, questions?
So. Done?
Yes.
I thought there was a third one.
Well, the district health advisory committee met, but I didn't go because there was the orchestra performance that night. So I did get to meet with Rachel Marcel. She was kind enough. There she is. We met a week afterwards. She was kind enough to go over what they covered on the agenda and what was discussed. And they meet again on 4/28. I can briefly go over, and I hope Rachel will fill in any gaps for me. Okay. So there's a continued conversation about Parent University, what to plan for and do for next year, because they were still having a lot of conversation about screen use and mental health and the impact of that, especially with COVID. But trying to get, I would call it a blended approach in my world, but the online, but also the in-person, so that you have students and children having conversation with parents and bringing it all together. So how do we have those conversations and how do we have it in all the buildings? And there are a variety of activities, and maybe you can try to start this with them. I'm going to do this. I can read them. They have a book group called We Belong, was the book that they had read, and there were 30 individuals that took part in that. A lot of good conversations that took place on how to put it in the classroom, how to, it's called Make It Takes, which makes she can make but how to utilize it, how to utilize what they learned in the classroom, as well as the student culture and climate survey is going to be coming up in the next couple of weeks, and that's in 3rd through 12th grade. There was a lot of, we talked for an hour, but okay, all right. But thank you again, Rachel.
Any questions for Dawn or Rachel? Is that it for the committee activity since our last board meeting? Okay. Board member comments.
Back to what was
Your
done.
mic on, though?
Yep, I said
Okay,
it.
great, yeah.
That gateways to the art of athletics and clubs. I think it is super cool, even though it's, I'm gonna say big brotherish, that you were able to track what the students were clicking on, and then having the teachers or coaches or club member reach out to the student, just knowing my kids and how they are. They want to hear from other students, but knowing if they clicked on it or were interested, and that teacher sees that they were interested and reaches out to them directly and say, hey, I heard you expressed interest, do you want to talk about it? So I thought that was super cool that you, that's a meeting that you're.
I can't, my counterpart, Kat Tubal, and I, she's a spreadsheet wizard, and it's all formulas in the background. So the data comes in from the Google form, and then we can basically create rosters, rosters of students that are interested based on those clubs and specific activities.
I think it's great though, is that for the teacher to reach out to the student and say, I heard you expressed interest, you want to talk about it. So that teacher-student bonding piece, that's pretty awesome.
Any other comments, board member comments? To say in line with the springtime sports and things, there's been a series of band and concerts here at school that have been as well attended as it can be, with still some COVID limitations. I think everyone would agree when you come on campus in the afternoon or evenings now or weekends, you see the fields just filled up. I mean, when you come in at the circle by the middle school, that whole field in front of you and all the way down behind the elementary school is packed with boys and girls lacrosse. It's phenomenal to see. You see the other sports in the other fields going on, and the activity around the campus is just exciting to see coming out of winter and COVID and everything. So everyone's done an amazing job, I think, to get us to this point. And just to, again, to see some life back on the campus like that is really nice. Anyone else? Okay. Second open forum. We have one person signed up, Karen Sheehan. Or I'm sorry, I thought that was me. I apologize. Karen, come right up to the mic, please.
Good evening, board members. My name is Corin Sheehan, and I'm here tonight to ask our board members to consider revising our code of conduct section 5300.35, the disciplinary penalties, procedures, and referrals under the title consequences. On March 11th, 11:48, my son was walking through the hallways at QMS and was punched on the left side of the head, injuring his ear, and punched on the right side, injuring his right jaw. While this was happening, 2 students were videotaping, posted and bragged about it on social media. This attack was motivated by popularity. There was no argument involved, nothing, just to gain popularity. Our school's initial response to this attack was very disheartening. I'm requesting tonight if we can address the consequences when bullying occurs at our schools. I'm asking the board to change our response to bullying and cyberbullying to have automatic consequences. For example, if a student physically puts their hands on another student, let's look at making the consequence an automatic 5-day suspension or more. The student suspension time should include the suspension from athletic participation, social or extracurricular activities, suspension of other privileges. If a student videos a verbal or physical attack and posts on social media, we can look at making that automatic 4-day suspension or more. If the posting on social media continues while they're on suspension, about the occurrence that they are not to come back into school until it ceases, until it stops. By giving the bully 5 days automatic suspension, it gives the victim time to process the physical verbal attack and to get the help and support they need from the school counselor and other services provided. They must be given time to return to school and settle back in and be given all the support and services during this time. The counselor should be in close contact with the victim and the teachers to see how they are doing in class and if they've noticed any changes. During the bullying suspension, the focus should be put on the victim's safety and well-being. The victim should be given the reassurance that his or her safety and well-being. Once the student returns to school, then we can work on the restorative practice, restoring the relationships, repairing the harm done by the affected parties, respecting others' opinions, and reintegrating into the school community. I would also like to request that we consider having a parent liaison on our board to give the opportunity for parents to be able to email or speak with the board members so that he and she can bring issues to the table for discussion at open or closed meetings. Many parents want to be able to express their concerns, but they're unable to come up here and stand in front of everybody to do that. It can be intimidating for some, so having a parent liaison, giving them an opportunity to express their concerns. I have a letter tonight that I would like to give each member in support of this revision. I just want to end by thanking the board members tonight for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No one else signed up? Okay. Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. It is difficult to get up front and speak to everybody. Thank you very much. There's a number of informational items. I want to point out the 26th, Tuesday the 26th for the board members. We have a special Board of Education meeting for the BOCES election. And we also will have executive session to conduct a couple of interviews. So it'd be important to be there if we can. And we'll have dinner as well. And if there's any questions, I'm sure there'll be more information. The Friday report, you certainly could reach out to Kyle or Denise. Oh, yeah. Amy. Yes. Anyway. It is. I don't think there's any reason for executive session tonight. So unless any board members have any comments or questions before we break. Okay. Thank you all for participating. For those online, thank you very much for signing in and participating as best you can online. And again, look forward to seeing everyone again on the or all the board members are gonna have the 26th. And on campus for spring events. Oh, sorry,
I'm
please.
sorry, Dan, I'm sorry I'm late on that, but we do not have executive session. When will we be talking in length about Mrs. Sheen's issue that she brought forward to the board tonight?
I guess that's something that we'll have to talk about. I think that policy would come out of the policy committee, and that would be a discussion with the policy group. That's where it would begin.
You'll keep us posted on that? Yeah. Absolutely, thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Any other questions or comments? Okay, thank you all. And I need a motion to adjourn.
I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
Can I get these?
Yes.
Board members?
Yes, you may. And a motion to adjourn the meeting, please.
So
So moved. Second.
Thank you. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you all.
Thanks, Dan.
Good night, everybody.
Aye.